Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. So we have finished with chapter 6 and chapter 1. Okay, the first chapters of part 1 and part 2. Today we are going to start with the second chapter of part 2, that is chapter 7, energy flow in an ecosystem. Okay, you had studied about ecosystem in the last year. This is a continuation. Okay, so what is an ecosystem? First we will see what is an ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? The interaction between biotic and abiotic factors. The interaction between biotic and abiotic factors. What do you mean by biotic factors? The living things. Okay, the living things in the environment is the abiotic factors, and the non-living things constitute the abiotic factors. Okay, the living things constitute the biotic factors and the non-living things constitute the abiotic factors. I repeat, the living things form the biotic factors and the non-living things form the abiotic factors, and the interaction between biotic and abiotic factors makes an ecosystem. Can you tell me examples of biotic factors? We are example of biotic factors: animals, birds, microorganisms. These are all examples of biotic factors. Examples of abiotic factors: soil, water, air, etc. are examples of abiotic factors. Okay, and the interaction between biotic and abiotic factors is called as an ecosystem. Now the next, what are the two types of ecosystem? What are the two types of ecosystem? Terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. What are the two types of ecosystem? Terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial means which is on land, and aquatic means which is in water. Terrestrial means which is on land, and aquatic means which is in water. The terrestrial ecosystem could be divided into three. Now this is according to 8th standard syllabus. Okay, terrestrial ecosystem consists of forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem and desert ecosystem. Okay, forest ecosystem, that is the ecosystem which is present in forest, that means the animals which are present in the forest. The grassland, that means normal where we live. Okay, that is grassland ecosystem, which consists of the plants and animals on grasslands. Desert means the ecosystem of plants and animals in the deserts. Okay, now aquatic ecosystem is also of two types: freshwater ecosystem and marine water ecosystem. Okay, so these are the two types of ecosystem. Now we will see the questions on page number 81. Looking back, that means some part which we had learned last year. What is meant by ecosystem? What is meant by ecosystem? You may write this answer. The interaction between biotic and abiotic factors is called as an ecosystem. Which are the different types of ecosystems? What are the different types? Terrestrial and aquatic. Terrestrial is divided into three: forest, grassland and desert, and aquatic is divided into two: freshwater and marine water. Now, how do interactions take place between biotic and abiotic factors in an ecosystem, of an ecosystem? It is through various biogeochemical cycles. Through various biogeochemical cycles. Bio means in living organisms, geo means on earth. That means the things which we take from the earth or from the atmosphere is given back to the atmosphere. For example, we take plants and animals, make use of oxygen, okay, from the atmosphere. It is given back to the atmosphere in some way or the other. So it is a cycle that is said to be biogeochemical cycles. So through the biogeochemical cycles, the biotic and abiotic factors interact with each other. So in this chapter we are going to study about biogeochemical cycles. Okay, now the next, energy flow in an ecosystem. We have already learned the classification of living organisms according to the mode of nutrition into producers, consumers, saprotrophs and decomposers. So the terms producers, consumers, saprotrophs and decomposers, these all we know. Okay, now we will start with the topic, that is food chain. What is a food chain? A definite sequence of interactions of, okay, a definite sequence of interactions of producers, consumers and decomposers. Okay, now what do you mean by producers? Producers means plants. They produce food by the process of what? Photosynthesis. Okay, so producers produce food by the process of photosynthesis, that is the plants. Now consumers depend upon producers. The consumers are of different levels: primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, also called as apex consumer. Okay, top consumer. So primary consumer depend upon producers, secondary consumers depend upon primary consumers, tertiary consumers depend upon secondary consumers. Depend upon means they eat. Okay, so primary consumers eat grass. Okay, eat vegetarian food. So it is primary consumers. Secondary consumers means which eat the primary consumers. Okay, that means they are non-vegetarian. They are carnivorous. Carnivorous. You know the term carnivorous. Okay. First is herbivorous. Herbivorous means which feed on plants. Carnivorous means which feed on animals. Omnivorous means which feed on both animals and plants. Okay, human beings are omnivorous. Okay, so primary consumers are also called as herbivores. Secondary consumers and tertiary consumers are called as carnivores, and omnivores are those which eat both plants and animals. So these steps, these levels, primary consumer is same as the herbivores, and secondary consumer and tertiary consumers are carnivores. Okay, when they all die, the producers die, the plants die, the animals die. When they all die, they are acted upon by the decomposers. So it is a chain from producers till the decomposers. That chain, a definite sequence, it is a sequence of interactions. So that definite sequence of interactions of producers, consumers, decomposers is called the food chain. Okay, and it consists of 3, 4 or 5 links. Links means there is one producer, then a primary consumer, then a secondary consumer. Okay, that means 3 links. Producer is the first, primary consumer is the second, and secondary consumer is the third. Okay, so in that way, one food chain consists of minimum 3 links. Okay, 3, 4 or 5 links. Okay, so that is a food chain. So I repeat, what is a food chain? It is a definite sequence of interactions of producers, consumers, decomposers is called food chain. It consists of 3, 4 or 5 links. Okay. Now all these ecosystem has food chains. All these ecosystems. Okay. So terrestrial ecosystem consists of food chain, which includes the plants which are present on the surface of the earth, that is on land, and the animals on land. It is of different types: forest, grassland and desert. Okay, so forest, in the forest you can say grass, then deer, then lion or a tiger. Okay, so grass, then deer, then tiger. Grassland could be grass, then grasshopper, then frog, then snake. Okay, that could be of grassland. In desert, according to the organisms, according to the plants, the ecosystem vary. So there are different types of ecosystems: aquatic, freshwater and marine water. Freshwater means the freshwater plants, the aquatic plants which are present inside the water, the small fishes which eat on those, then big fishes which eats those small fishes. Okay, such type of ecosystem is present in aquatic ecosystem. So that is a food chain. Now in your textbook on page number 81, they have shown a food chain in figure 7.1. You may see in figure 7.1 they have given the diagram. Okay, that diagram is important, it is there for next year also. You may see the grass. Okay, you may write there grass, then grasshopper, then frog, then snake, then eagle, then fungi. Okay, then fungi. You may see grass is the producer, grasshopper is the primary consumer, frog is the secondary consumer, snake is the tertiary consumer, eagle is the tertiary consumer, or and the decomposers. Okay, now this is a food chain. You may write in your textbook the names of those organisms. Okay, names of those organisms for figure 7.1. I repeat, grass, grasshopper, frog, snake, eagle, and fungi. Okay, in brackets where you have written grass, you may write producer. Where you have written fungi, in bracket you may write decomposer. So have you understood all these terms? Okay, what are the terms? Producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, decomposer. Okay, herbivore, carnivore, omnivore. Next is food chain and food web. Now what do you mean by a food web? We will see what is a food web. An ecosystem consists of many food chains interconnected at various levels. Such an intricate network is called a food web. So in a food web there are too many number of food chains. They are interconnected with each other. You may see, for example, on page number 82, figure 7.2, they have given various living organisms. You can make the food chains, different food chains. The example I will tell you, from grass to grasshopper and grasshopper to bird. Okay, from grass to grasshopper, grasshopper to bird. Then from grass to rabbit, rabbit to fox, or rabbit to tiger. Okay, I repeat, grasshopper to rabbit, rabbit to fox, or rabbit to tiger. Again, grass to deer, deer to tiger. Grass to zebra, zebra to tiger. They have shown nuts there, nuts to monkeys, or nuts to squirrel. Okay, squirrel is eaten by the hawk or an eagle type, a vulture like organism which is shown, a bird which is shown. Okay, squirrel is eaten by that bird. Nut to squirrel and squirrel to eagle or vulture. Then banana to monkey, nuts to monkey. So have you marked? You may try on your own. There are different food chains together which consists of different organisms. So that intricate network of food chain is called as a food web. Now there are some questions. Use your brain power on page number 82. Make a list of various organisms are given. Make a list of various consumers of the ecosystems around you and classify them according to the mode of nutrition. So according to mode of, what do you mean by mode of nutrition? Whether they are herbivores or carnivores. Pictures of various organisms are given in figure 7.2. Construct a food web from those pictures. You may construct on your own. Just now I had told you how to construct it. Is the number of consumers in the food web fixed? No, it is not fixed. You may write the answer no. What will be the effect on an ecosystem if only one type of organism in it forms the food for several different consumers in that ecosystem? The question is, if consider only grass is eaten by all the animals, what would happen? The grass will decrease. Okay, decrease. But so there are steps, that is there is a chain. Consider the deer is eaten by tigers. All the deers are eaten. What will happen if the tigers increase in number and the deers will decrease in number? So what will happen if one of the consumers increase in number? It will affect the balance of the ecosystem. Now you may write the answer. It would lead to competition for food and cause imbalance to ecosystem. I repeat, it would lead to competition for food and cause imbalance to ecosystem. Now you are supposed to keep your textbooks open when you study these chapters. Okay, it is very important because I will be dictating you smaller answers for those in text questions. Okay, because in notes bigger answers have been given. What will be the effect on an ecosystem if only one type of organism in it forms the food for several different consumers in that ecosystem? The answer is it would lead to competition for food and cause imbalance to ecosystem. Okay. Now, why is the balance or equilibrium necessary in a food web? Okay, why is the balance necessary? Write the answer. If it is not balanced, it will affect the complete ecosystem. If it is not balanced, it will affect the complete ecosystem. Okay, so to maintain the balance of an ecosystem, the number of organisms is also is to be balanced. Okay, that means the producers are always more in number. After that, primary consumers. After that, secondary consumers, and after that, tertiary consumers. Okay, so the largest number of organisms are producers. If you might have observed, there are mostly all the most living things. The mostly found organism is the plants. Okay, then after plants, the herbivores are more in number, then the primary consumers, then the secondary consumers, and so on. Because if one of the secondary consumers increase in number, then it will eat more and more food and it will cause imbalance in the ecosystem. Okay, so this balance has to be maintained. Okay, now you may mark this much in your textbook. We will move on to the next topic. Now the next topic is energy pyramid. Now what do you mean by a pyramid? A pyramid is a particular structure. It is a shape which is broad at the top and tapering towards the ends. You know what is a pyramid. Okay, now here this is a pyramid of organisms. In the base to the lowermost level there are producers. Producers means plants. Plants means which produce food by the process of photosynthesis. Now it is at the base. It is not here but it is here. Why? Because the number of organisms are more. The number of plants are the highest. I told you earlier. Okay. Now after producers it is herbivores. It is herbivores. Herbivores depend upon the plants for food. That is the first trophic level. What do you mean by a trophic level? A step at which the organism obtains its food in the food chain. This is the first step. Okay, so this definition is important. So what is trophic level? A step at which the organism obtains its food in the food chain. That is said to be first trophic level or trophic levels. The levels, it is said to be trophic levels. In the first trophic level we are having herbivores. Herbivores depend upon the plants for their food. The herbivores are eaten up by carnivores. The carnivores form the second trophic level. After the carnivores there are omnivores which form the third trophic level. So it is in the form of a pyramid because this is the largest number of having the largest number of organisms, then this, and then this. It is not in the form of a rectangle. Why it is not in the form of a rectangle? Because the number of organisms are going on decreasing. That means it is in the form of a triangle, in the form of a pyramid. Okay, so now I repeat, the number of organisms of plants is the highest, then the herbivores, then the carnivores, and then the omnivores. What will happen if the omnivores increase. If it is the largest in number, then this will fall short. Okay, there will be shortage of food, there will be shortage of herbivores, there will be shortage of plants. Okay, so it is in that manner on the surface of the earth. Okay, if it changes, it will affect the balance of the ecosystem. So basically an ecosystem consists of producers, consumers, and then decomposers. Now decomposers act on every level. That is why it is not shown in the pyramid. Okay, why it is not shown in the pyramid? Because decomposers act on the plants when they die, they act on herbivores when they die, they act on carnivores when they die, and they act on omnivores also when they die. So they are the largest in number. So it is not shown in the pyramid. Okay, so in a pyramid, what you have to show? You have to show only producers, herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. This is the diagram showing the trophic levels. Okay, now in this you may see, in this diagram, the producers get sunlight, make use of the sunlight to carry out photosynthesis, and they produce food. Okay, and that food is used up by the plant also and by the herbivores also. The energy, producers need energy. The energy is needed to carry out some reactions inside their body. The energy is needed to carry out some reactions inside their body. Okay, so for that some part of the energy is used up by the producers, and it is passed on to herbivores. When the herbivores eat them, it is passed on to the herbivores. From the herbivores, it is passed on to the carnivores. From the carnivores, it is passed on to the omnivores. Okay, from the omnivores and all these, when decompose, it is passed on to decomposers. Okay, now in this procedure, in this act, is the energy which was taken from the sun returned back to the sun? It is not returned back to the sun. That means the energy flow is unidirectional. Okay, the energy flow is unidirectional. The energy which we have taken, which the producers have taken from the sun, is never returned back to the sun. So the energy flow is unidirectional. Okay, now what about the nutrients which we take from the soil and from the atmosphere? Okay, when we take nutrients from the soil, that means we don't eat soil, but the plants take nutrients from the soil. From the plants we get it. When we die or the plants die, they are returned back to the soil. So the nutrients is a cycle. For nutrients, it is a cycle. For example, oxygen, we take oxygen from the atmosphere. Understood? And we give out carbon dioxide. What about plants? Plants take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. So there is give and take, and so there is balance, and the flow is cyclic. That means the nutrient flow is cyclic, whereas the energy flow is unidirectional. I repeat, the nutrient flow is cyclic and the energy flow is unidirectional. The flow of energy is in only one direction. It is coming from the sun, okay, and it is used up by the organisms on the surface of the earth. It is never returned back to the sun. Whereas in case of nutrients, the nutrients are taken up from the surface of the earth, from air, from soil, from water, okay, and it is returned back to those sources. It is a cycle. Okay, now we may see this is the pyramid of energy in an ecosystem. Okay, in an ecosystem, this aquatic ecosystem, okay, I didn't write aquatic, in an aquatic ecosystem. Aquatic means in water. The plants which are present in water, they are called as phytoplanktons. This is an objective question. The plants which are grow in water, inside water, underwater, they are called as phytoplanktons. And the small organisms which eat on those phytoplanktons are called as zooplanktons. The small organisms which eat on those phytoplanktons are called as zooplanktons. Okay, so these are plants, these are small organisms. Those small organisms are eaten up by fishes. This could be small fishes also. Okay, now it is eaten upon by fishes, and the fishes are eaten upon by the humans. Okay, now here you may see the energy which is produced by phytoplanktons is about 10,000 kilocalories. Okay, how much it is? It is about 10,000 kilocalories. The phytoplanktons make use of about produce about 10,000 kilocalories. From those 10,000 kilocalories, 90% is used up by the organisms itself, by the producers itself. Only 10% is available for the zooplanktons. Okay, so the amount of energy becomes 10%. Only 10% of this is available to zooplanktons. Only 10% of 1000 is available to fishes. Fishes get only 10% of 1000, that is 100, and the humans get only 10% of that, that is 10 kilocalories. Okay, that means the energy is going on decreasing. That is why it is in the form of a pyramid. It is decreasing. Okay, have you understood the pyramids? Okay, so in this pyramid, what are the questions which could be asked? Okay, we will see on page number 82. They have given the diagram trophic levels. They will give you the diagram and ask questions. Now you, on the left hand side there is a paragraph. That paragraph you may underline. It is very, very important. Each level in the food chain is called a trophic level. A trophic level is, it is the definition of trophic level. A trophic level is the step at which the organism obtains its food in the chain. The amount of matter and energy gradually decreases from producers at the lowest level to the top consumers at the highest level. So I told you the energy goes on decreasing. Okay, because the number of organisms also go on decreasing. Now, an introduction to scientists. Lindman in 1942 studied the food chain and energy flow through it. Okay, it is a fill in the blank. Charles Elton, a British scientist, first proposed the concept of ecological pyramid after a study of tundra ecosystem of the Bear Islands in England. Hence, this pyramid is called as Eltonian pyramid. That also you may underline. It could be asked as a fill in the blank question. Now, on page number 83, think about it. Okay, the answer, short answers you may write there itself. What happens to the energy during its transfer from producers to apex consumers? Okay, that is the first question. The answer is, what happens to the energy? Amount of energy is decreased, or amount of energy decreases. Answer is, amount of energy decreases. Does it remain trapped in the apex consumer? No. Okay, does it remain here? Does it remain here? No. Those organisms die. When they die, it is returned back. Okay, returned back means it is given to the decomposers. It is dissipated into the atmosphere. Does it remain in the body of apex consumer till its death? No. Okay, some part of it is lost in the form of heat. Some part of it is lost in the form of heat. Okay, so that energy, one day if we eat, is it going to remain for the lifetime? No, it is not going to remain for the lifetime. It is not essential for us for the lifetime. Every day we have to eat, because we make use of the energy, and some energy is lost in the form of heat also due to our activities. Okay, so it doesn't remain trapped in the body. It is lost in the form of heat due to the activities. You may write the answer. No, some is lost in the form of heat due to the activities. Now right hand side, use your brain power. What would happen if the energy remains trapped in the body of apex consumers even after death? What will happen? The answer is, there will be no energy transfer and it will affect the ecosystem. Right, there will be no energy transfer and it will affect the ecosystem. What will happen if it is not acted upon by the decomposers? The nutrients are not returned back to the soil and the atmosphere, and it will start rotting. Okay, and it will affect the balance of the ecosystem. Next, what will happen if there were no decomposers like microbes and fungi in nature? Okay, write the answer. Recycling of biotic and abiotic factors would not have been possible. I repeat, recycling of biotic and abiotic factors would not have been possible. So when these organisms, the producers, they make use of energy, okay, they make use of energy, and the remaining energy is going on to the next level, to next level, to next level, and to each and every level the nutrients are also made use of. Okay, the nutrients are also made use of. Now when those nutrients are made use of, if it is going to get stuck in this level, then it is not returned back to the atmosphere, due to which the balance of ecosystem is lost. Okay, now the paragraph below that, figure 7.4 shows the energy transfer. You may mark from the energy transfer till the end of that paragraph. Okay, that paragraph is the answer if you are having a short note on pyramid of energy. Now next, in the next paragraph, you may mark, in the process of obtaining food from the remains of organisms, the decomposers convert them into simple carbon compounds. These substances easily mix with water, air, water and soil, from where they are again absorbed by the plants and incorporated into the food chain. Okay, so decomposers acts on any level, and the nutrients are given back to the soil, air or water, and from there again the plants make use of it, and thus it is a cycle. It enters the food chain and leaves the food chain. Okay, so it is a cycle. Now the last paragraph, the sun is the most important source of energy in an ecosystem. Green plants of the ecosystem store some of the solar energy in the form of food. Before reaching the decomposers, this energy is passed on from one trophic level to the next. Decomposers dissipate some amount of energy in the form of heat. However, no part of the energy ever returns to the sun. Hence, such passage of energy is referred to as one-way transport. That paragraph is a very important question. The question is there in the exercise. I will be giving you as homework also. This paragraph you may mark. Now, in the left hand side, use your brain power. Why are the numbers of tertiary consumers always less than those of consumers? It is to maintain equilibrium in the ecosystem. It is to maintain equilibrium in the ecosystem. Okay, so this much you may mark in your textbook. This part is very, very important. Now I'll give you the homework. This is the homework for you today. First is define trophic level, food chain, food web. You may write the points which I had written on the board or from the textbook. Okay. Draw a diagram of energy pyramid showing different trophic levels. You have to draw the diagram, figure 7.3. Okay, figure 7.3. Sometimes they ask figure 7.4 also. So you may learn both of them, but you may draw 7.3 for this question. Energy flow in an ecosystem is a one-way transport. It is on page number 83, last paragraph. I had told you to mark. Okay, so you may learn this today itself. It is an easier part. Thank you.